You're listening to Conversation Kingz with Dominic Emerson, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to the Conversation Kingz. I am your host, Dominic Emerson, here on LA Talk Radio. And today I want to come on and just talk to you and just let you all know that you can like, follow, subscribe, and download the app, because this is a station that definitely you will get all the vital information in order to progress and move forward in your life, your path, or your journey, wherever you're going or wherever direction you're going into. I just want to talk and say that today I'm dedicating this show to my father, Charles Emerson. Today is his birthday, so I'm dedicating this show to him, and big ups, Pops, and may you have a restful birthday. Today, I have a guest coming on, and when my guests come on, I'm definitely going to introduce them, but I want to talk today about overcoming obstacles, right? See, overcoming obstacles is a thing that we all endure, right? We all go through something where we need to overcome obstacles and get over the hump somewhere in life, right? We all have challenges. We all have things that we run into, as we used to call them, bumps in the road, right? So we have to have the power to overcome obstacles in this life, right? We have to have the power to overcome obstacles in this life. And how do we have that power, right? How do we overcome challenges? How do we build resilience and become the best version of ourselves that we can become, right? So we're going to talk about how to overcome obstacles, how to build this resilience, how to, develop a certain mindset in order to overcome these obstacles in life, right? Because these obstacles in life only come to make us stronger, only come so that way we can progress to the next level that we desire to get to, right? And that's why we have obstacles in life. And sometimes these obstacles may be on your job, they may be in your household, they may be in your family, they may be in avenues or areas where you thought that you were already going to progress at, but there's a stumbling block that might come into play or get in the way of you moving in a certain direction that you want to move into, right? And then we also have to have, while we're going through the overcoming of the obstacles, we got to have the art of resilience, right? We got to have the fight inside of us, right? And we got to keep fighting, right? We got to fight on till we can't fight no more, right? I like watching a lot of sports talks, and I love coaches who do motivation before the team get ready to come out, right? And so I had caught this one coach saying, and he was basically telling his team during halftime in the locker room, he basically said one of the greatest motivations that I liked for overcoming the situation that they were in, but it goes into life in general, right? He basically said, we're going to fight till we can't fight no more. We're going to lay down, we're going to bleed a little while, but we're going to get up and we're going to fight some more. That's what it's all about when it comes to overcoming obstacles and having the art of resilience in our lives, right? How do we conquer these challenges? That's the art of resilience. We need to know, how do we conquer these challenges and achieve our goals? Because everybody in this life, somewhere down the line, set some goals, some personal goals in order to get to. But those obstacles along the road seem like they got in the way. And when they got in the way, it seemed like it deterred us from going the path that we thought we was going to set out to go into, right? But you got to know that just because something got in the way doesn't mean it stopped you from getting to where you needed to go. It may have slowed down the progress, but it didn't stop you. We can't let things that seem like they get in our way, those stumbling blocks get in our way and stop us from continuing to move forward, continue to progress, continue to overcome obstacles. We have to have that art of resilience. We have to have that fight inside of us. They say you got to have that dog in you, right? In this life, you got to have some kind of dog in you. And I don't mean like a chihuahua. I'm talking like a pit bull, something that's nasty, that's going to get down and fight and go all out to reach that means of an end, right? Because you're trying to get somewhere and you're not going to let anything hinder you. You may get doors closed in your face. You can hear 1,000 no's, but as long as you hear one yes, that's helping you to get over that obstacle, right? And that's what we need. And that's what we need to understand in this life, right? And so, in dealing with overcoming obstacles and having the art of resilience, or understanding the art of resilience, we got to have grit. We got to have a grit to fight, right? You got to be nitty gritty, ready to get down. And like I hear a lot of people say, I got it out the mud, but some people don't understand what getting it out the mud means, right? I mean, you got to dig deep. You got to get a little dirty sometime in this life. If you want to go up and you don't want to stay stagnant, you got to get gritty. You got to push through all of it, right? Through all of the hurt, the pain, the suffering sometimes. And it's the mental block. Once you start telling yourself, I can't do it, I won't be able to succeed, then that's when you're not going to be able to do it. But you got to have that grit, that fight, right? To overpower the obstacles through persistence, resilience. And you got to write your own success story, because you are the author during this journey of life. You got to write your own success story. Can't nobody else write it for you. Nobody else is holding a pen. Nobody else is holding a paper. It's the story that you're going to write that's going to be complete, right? Like oftentimes we have authors, they write books, biographies, right? What is your story? What did you overcome? Where did you have to be resilient at? What did you have to have grit in what area, right? What did you have to overpower in order to overcome that obstacle, right? You have to write your own story in order to move forward in this life, right? And then above everything else, you got to rise above it, right? You got to rise above the naysayers in this life. You got to rise above what they telling you you can't do, you can't be. And I see so many people that are rising above the circumstances that are around them, the life that where they come from, the family that they come from. They're rising above it. They're rising above the things that people said they wouldn't be able to do this. They wouldn't be able to go down that avenue. They wouldn't be able to go to college. They wouldn't be able to be successful in life. But they're rising above it because they understand the power of overcoming an obstacle. It's like one coach said as well, brick by brick. You got to lay it brick by brick. Any good foundation is laid brick by brick. And sometimes you may not get a hand while you laying those bricks. You're not going to get so many hands that are going to help you lay those bricks. So sometimes you have to go in and you have to lay those bricks by yourself. It may become tiresome. You may get worn out. You may be weary in your well-doing. And, you have to just rise above it, right? And so with that being said, I just want to introduce my guest. I have a guest coming on. I told you for sure. He's a great man, a great inspirator, great motivator, someone who, I follow and I listen to what he has to say because he helps me get through day to day sometimes. It's just the meat that he serves, I'm able to swallow it. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest, Eric Warren Jr., EJ Warren. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, brother, I appreciate you so much. I'm well.
Man, I'm glad you could join me, man. I'm glad you could join me.
You know what, brother? It's a privilege for me to be here. I thank you for being thoughtful enough to invite me. Pleasure is mine.
Man, I'm honored, man, because like I say, I follow everything you do, man. You're so impactful in today with our mental health and with men and just the community in general. So I said I got to reach out to this brother, man, because I need that. I need that conversation, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm here for
it. I was leading them up to it, man, and I was talking about overcoming obstacles. And there's some things, of course, as you being a therapist, I want to dig into and ask you some questions. As we say, I want to pick your brain a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So you can feed the people, because that's what it's all about, feeding the people and feeding the community, man. So, just let them know who you are and what you do, man.
All right. I'm Eric Warren Jr. Everybody just calls me EJ. By day, I'm a licensed psychotherapist in the state of California. But when I'm not doing that, I'm facilitating different groups. I do speaking engagement, things along that line, and just trying to encourage people to become the best version of themselves, or at least seek to discover that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir. I would like to say my work is kind of, if you boil it down, that's pretty much what you'll probably see.
Yeah. You just put it in a little small paper bag, man, but I know it's a big old bag, man. I know you got so much inside of it. You got an arsenal, man. And, with that being said, man, I just want to talk to the people. What is it that people who are going through something, how can they overcome obstacles in their life when they feel like they're defeated, man?
Okay, when they feel like that storm then came. What
right
is that you don't want to give too much to the moment. understand it's a moment. It's all a moment. Everything is a moment, and you don't want to give too much to whatever that moment is, even though it could be something very significant. It could be something tragic, but at the end of the day, it is a moment, and at time, it's time. Time is your best friend, and as long as you have time,
Right.
and you're able to do some type of internal work where you're able to sit, with yourself, depending on whatever that situation is, you'll be able to overcome. That the goal is to be able to overcome, but it takes time. So understand that, this is a tough time, but it's not going to be all the time, so long as you don't allow it to be. You know what I mean? And so
Yes, sir.
it's
Yes,
about
sir.
going in, digging in, finding out, when you feel as though, man, I just can't, you're in a dark spot. You feel as though you're in a dark spot. But I sometimes, like if I have clients or whatever, and they're going through that, I always remind them, I said, is this the first time you went through adversity?
Mm.
And they say, most of them, 9 out of 10 times, they say, no, it ain't. I said, well, what happened the other 18 times you done been through a storm? How'd you come out? I'm here.
Right. Right.
I said, we ain't gonna make this one no different, but let's put it together. Let's find out, number one, what took place. What is it that's taking place? What's the origin of it? How can we ensure that it doesn't repeat itself? Depending on the situation, depending on the circumstance, ensuring that we don't repeat the situation, and implementing different types of tools. Once that,
Yes, sir.
once we learn that.
I totally agree, man. I totally agree with the and I took from that the tools aspect too. It's like a hammer is just a hammer.
Yeah.
Until it's in the hands of somebody that know how to use that tool, right?
You better believe it. Mm-hmm.
Right. And you're giving people like great tools and great advice, man. And like you say, is this the first storm? No. We go through many storms in life, but how we deal with them and how we overcome them says a lot about us. And like I saw your post earlier, man, keep the faith. It's our faith, right? Like if we're going through a storm, how much faith do we got, man, in order to keep going?
Yeah, you got to keep the faith. That really it's really depending. Your faith allows you to see when you're going through a dark time. Your faith allows you to know that you're being planted. Lack of faith will make you think that you're being buried.
Man, that's deep, man. That's deep. That's real deep. Because sometimes we feel like that sun is not shining on us. We're in a dark moment. It's overly cloudy. But there's great people like you out there that are there to say, hey, look, you can come up out of that.
Yeah, you got to be willing to turn the page, though. You got to keep turning the page. You got to keep turning the page. I talk to so many brothers and sisters, whatever it is, a lot of times that they might have going on, whether it could be who knows what, it could be a work related, it could be something going on in their personal life. And I say, it ain't going to stop there. It's not going to stop there. We got to keep turning the pages. And if you keep turning the pages and you do the work that you're supposed to do, there's a chapter coming up. And I need to get to that chapter. There's a chapter coming up. This is not how your story ends. There's a chapter coming up where everything switches.
Man, I could dig
it,
man.
Because you didn't give up. You kept going. You kept going. Kept going. And when the adversity comes, yes, it may be time to pause for a second, but it doesn't mean that you need to stop forever. You may need to take a break or whatever and kind of reset some things, and then just keep keep going. Keep going. Keep going a little bit at a time.
Yes, sir. That's truly understandable, man. Just a little bit at a time. Take little small bites or small steps.
That's it.
Right?
That's it, brother. That's it. That's it.
And it'll change itself, man. And I just think that, like you're telling them and giving them that knowledge that you have as a therapist, that you will overcome. And I took from that, be resilient.
Yeah. Yeah. Strive to be, and then understand that when you are in the storm, when you're going through a storm, your social environment is so very important. Ensuring that you are around people that are going to feed you the things that you need to recover, as opposed to feeding you things that are going to lead to you even further into your demise. So it's social environment. Sometimes storms come along the way. And that's when it's almost like storms come, but it's almost an opportunity to kind of reset and understanding everybody that was in chapter 20 can't come to chapter 30.
Come on now.
Every character that made it in chapter 30 can't go into chapter 40. It ain't the
Yes,
way
sir.
it works. It's just it's not enough room. You got to make room, and that's the biggest thing sometimes as us for people is that sometimes we scared to make that room. We got people occupying positions.
Right. Say that. Say that. That's a
really
definite, man.
What it is it's kind of, it's blocking. And I tell people all the time, you know, one thing, blessings are amazing, but one thing it won't do is ever cohabitate with a burden. So as long as you got a burden in the way, your blessing ain't gonna come. It is. Let me know when it's time.
Oh man, you feeding meat right now, man. You're feeding meat right now. Hopefully somebody can swallow exactly what you're saying, because, you know, if it's like, if you're sitting around 9 people that are not doing nothing or not striving to be the best that they can be, then of course you're going to be that 10th person, right? If they always in a struggle and they don't know how to overcome a struggle, or they don't have resiliency or fight inside of them, or they don't understand how to reset their lives, then of course you don't have nobody that's going to be able to help you do it. So that's a burden. So I totally understand what you're saying, man. That's so much of a burden, because you got to have somebody you can go to in order to have a reset on your life, to help you refocus, you know, and reset your life, man.
And
so
that's the thing, because it's your life. At the end of the day, you came in here by yourself, and when your time comes to leave, you're gonna leave by yourself, dog. You're gonna leave by yourself. And we want you, I want you to say, what is it like? What is it? What would it be like for Dominic to hit his full potential?
Right.
What would it be like if you put your all into something, your absolute all, to reach your full potential? A lot of times we get so enamored, especially in our community, we get so enamored and so amazed by different celebrities. But I'll be saying, I say, you just as talented.
Right.
You have no idea. Do you know what would happen if you put your all into it? You know, most of us just
that's a definite, man. That's a definite.
We dip our toe in the pool of potential. We just dip our toe in, instead of jumping all the way in.
Yeah, that's a guarantee, man.
Into it. You'd be amazed to see what can happen. You got a gift.
Yeah. You know, just go all out. You know, we got that thing where people going off that Nipsey talking about all in, but people don't really want to go all in. You know, I want to go in and just see from, is it okay?
Yeah.
Is it? We want to be lukewarm.
Yeah,
you know, we don't want to get hot,
because we have been trained a lot of times inadvertently to be very, very conscious on other people's opinions of us. We care almost to a fault what other people think. Right. And that is what a lot of times either keeps us in neutral, or even worse, keeps us in park.
Oh,
because
definitely, man.
We care about so much about what I don't want them to think. Hey, stop.
Right.
You leave it out of here alone. You better you better make some use of it.
Yeah.
You can't your grandkids can't eat off of, man, I would have, but I just didn't. I didn't want such and such to be thinking that I was such and stop that. Stop that.
That's true.
You got to tap into yourself and use what it is that you have.
Yeah, that's a definite, man. You know, and you know, we always talk about leaving a legacy and everything, but the biggest legacy I can leave to my children is to say that, you know, I overcame and you can overcome. You know, I reset and became refocused, and so can you. And I love what you said. You got to tap into the potential, you know, because we have so much potential inside of us, but we're afraid to step out. You know, Lord, is that you? Can I come walk on that water with you? We're afraid to actually step out there and get out the boat per se, in order to overcome obstacles and be the best version of ourselves that we can be, you know, and that's our community, you know, and it's the mindset of our community. And like I said, if you're hanging around those type of people, then of course that's going to be your mindset also.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of us don't make it past 35 on a dashboard that's able to go 110. And that's the sad part. A lot of us don't get past 30. You have no idea what you're really, really capable of if you decide to bite all the way down to see what you're made of. You've been given something. And that's my biggest thing. I'm always trying to tell people. I tell people all the time, I say, look, if your birthday was a year ago and I gave you a gift, and every time I come over to your house, you still ain't opened it, how you think that's gonna make me feel? I'll be like, you know, most of the answers, it's probably gonna be like, you probably feel a certain type of way. Yeah. So imagine what it's like after 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Now here you are, you might be in your mid-30s, your mid-40s, your mid-50s. God then gave you a gift 55 decades ago, and you still ain't opened it yet. How you think they're making?
Right.
Use what you have. You got something. You're not here by mistake. Everything that you've been through is not by mistake.
That's a definite.
Not by mistake. People be thinking that they go through these different chapters just to go through them. What you don't know is that you didn't been through 25 hard chapters. That's 25 hard chapters for a book.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It ain't hard. It ain't like you got to make anything up. You lived it. You survived it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
get a return on that survival. All that you've been through. You get a return on that. Somebody could use your testimony. So they need to know. So I'm big on that. That's my thing. But Dominic, don't get me started, bro. Because I
know you got a lot in your bag, man. You got a lot in your game bag for them, man. You know, that's why I tapped in with you, man. Because I know that you're gonna feed the people and give the people exactly what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear in order to help them get where they're supposed to be. Their God-given gift, living in the God-given gift that God gave them. So I want to ask how can a person mentally motivate themselves to activate their dreams?
I think what it is I think you have to understand capacity. You got to understand capacity. Number one, how much can you take in, but more importantly, what it is that you're taking in. Everything has to coordinate. When it comes to dreams, when it comes to goals, when it comes to aspiration, it has to coordinate. Almost just like how you have a professional athlete, most of the time they have good coordination. Everything works well. That's the reason why they're at that level. Or another way of looking at it, somebody is able to dress to the nine, chances are because they're able to coordinate it, blends well. So everything that you have to ask, everything that you desire to do, if you're desiring to do something, everything that you take in, all the information that you take in has to coordinate with that dream. You can't want to be a preacher if you're, probably if you're spending a lot of time looking at pornography, it's gonna clash. Everything it's coordinated. You can't want to be a vegan chef if all you do is eat steak. It has to everything has to match. It has to match. So whatever it is that you decide that you want to do, somebody tells me, man, I want to be, I don't know. They say, man, I want to be a lawyer. I said, well, man, your Saturdays got to be down the step. You got to be about law. Everything that has to be coordinated. You got to be able to sit in class. You can't become a lawyer on the couch.
Right.
So for dreams and aspirations, if you're really, really about it, you got to start taking steps. See, the fact is, most people don't even get to a place where they experience the rejection of a dream or a goal. Because it's not even that they don't even take the shot. It ain't that they break.
Right.
They don't even take a shot.
Right. Don't want to get in the game.
They don't even want to get in the game.
Yeah.
And so that's the number one thing. And everything has to coordinate. The information that you're listening to. Think to yourself, does that coordinate with where it is that I'm going? So you got to look at your journey. Everything it's a journey, right? Dominic, it's a journey. So if we in LA, right? And I say, man, I'm trying to get up to the Bay Area, but we in LA. So chances are, if we're in LA, everything it has to. The direction has to be correct.
Right.
It doesn't make sense for me to be on 405 South if I'm trying to get up to the Bay. I end up somewhere.
You're never gonna get there.
I'm not gonna get there. So it has to direction. Everything that you do has to be based off of direction. Is this pushing me towards my goal? And it's the same way you almost kind of when I talk about social influence and stuff like that and the social aspect, when you're dealing with people, once you find out what your goal is, the people you are going to be the sum total of the people that have access to your mind, your time, and your body the most. I
hope y'all hear that. I hope y'all hear that, man. Could you please say that again?
That I make up. These are not rules that I make up.
Oh man, I hope they hear that.
Total of those that have access to your mind, your body, and your time. That's what you're going to be. So I tell people, I say, look around you. Think about who you're hanging out with.
Right.
Does it look like they're going to be able to get you into that direction? Are you inspired by these people, or are you just entertained?
Oh man. That's a lot right there, EJ. Yeah. I just want to say, man, that we have to be mindful and careful, like you said, who we sit around, getting it all together, coordinating it together to get together. And see, that's why there's I'm grateful for platforms like this, so people like ourselves can get together and share this knowledge, this understanding of knowing, you know. And this is definitely what people need to hear on a regular basis, right? The truth, you know, the dispensation of the truth to where they need to get to, and understand the circle that you're around may be holding you back from your dreams more than you know it. Just because I like going to hang out with Lil Curtis don't mean Lil Curtis got the best intentions for me to get to my dream.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have to know that, you know, I got to sit around people that's going to be going on that same journey, that same destination. They're trying to get somewhere. So I have to sit with people that are trying to get somewhere in order for me to reach my dreams. Right. If I sit around 9 billionaires, eventually I'll become a billionaire because I'm sitting around people. Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how it works. And those are rules that we make up. It's just how it works.
Right.
It's how it works.
Right. And people need to understand that. You
Dr.
know,
Miles Monroe said that let me see how did he put it? He said 10 sheep led by lions, but led by a lion will always be more brave than 10 lions led by a sheep.
That's so true. So true. And Dr. Miles Monroe, that was my guy, man. Great wisdom and great knowledge, man. That was my guy. You know, we used to sit down and have talks, Dr. Miles Monroe and I. This was before the internet came out, before he passed and everything, man. Great guy, wisdom, great knowledge, you know. And to have that understanding is what I mean. We have to sit around people like that in order to get that, right? That's why I'm like, hey, EJ, I need to sit around you. I need to sit with you, man. I need to have this conversation, because not just for my mindset, but for everybody else's mindset, to say, hey, look, we need to open up and expand more if we're going to go in a certain direction, right? So we need these people to come on and actually talk and have these discussions so we can expand more in order to overcome obstacles, show that we can be resilient, have grit, know that we're on a journey. And in order for us to get to that journey or destination where we're going, we have to coordinate, you know, our life's GPS.
Definitely. And you need to check the condition of your circle. You have got to do that every once in a while. Just like you do a maintenance check on your body. You go to the doctor. If you do a physical every once a year, you need to check the condition of your circle. It's very important. You will either elevate or you will dissipate depending on who it is that you hang out with. It is what it is.
Nah, serious. That's a definite. You know, I thank for the people that are listening. This is the Conversation Kings. I'm your host, Dominic Emerson, here on LA Talk Radio. I'm talking with EJ Warren, and he's a great motivator, motivational speaker, a therapist, a licensed therapist. And this guy is definitely someone you want to follow, definitely somebody you want to tap into. Could you let them know also again where they can reach you at?
Okay, yeah, you can always reach me. I always just tell people Instagram. Now, Dominic, you're gonna want to reach across that screen, because I believe I'm Eric Warren Jr. on Instagram. I believe
it's up there.
We'll put if you can just put it in the maybe in the thing, my little at.
That's a definite. I'll definitely do that. We got.
I don't have my phone, but I forget sometimes. But Eric Warren Jr. That's the way to get in contact with me, whether it's Instagram or like LinkedIn or something like that. And I'm always down to talk. I love to chop it up with people.
Definite, man. Definite. It's Eric _Warren Jr. on Instagram.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry about that, y'all.
No. You're good with that. You're good with that. Definitely. I'm definitely gonna put everything out there, man, so people can follow you, because you know you drop jewels, man, and it's an understanding of how we need to overcome, how we need to push forward, you know, and move forward, and especially for our community, because you know we suffer, and I'm gonna dig into this part too, because it goes into overcoming obstacles, right? Our mental health when it comes to overcoming obstacles. What is one of the biggest things that we need to, as men, I'm gonna say men, as men, for our mental health in order to overcome obstacles? What's the best thing that we ought to be doing at this time right now?
Number one, being very, and I kind of want to say number one like this is the most important, but it is up there. It is very important, which is accepting the fact that you know what not to do. Accepting the fact that you know what not to do. So as brothers out there, you know, at the end of the day, we going through something. It's very important. If you think you're going to smoke it away, I got news for you. It ain't going to work. If you think you're going to drink it away, I got news for you. It ain't going to work. If you think you're going to sex it away, I got news for you. I don't care how bad she is. It ain't going to work, champ. So number one is accepting that, knowing that, okay, this is not an option. Removing all the things that you like to go to, that default setting that sometimes we have, removing all those things, and then accepting the fact and identifying with self, what is it that I need help with? Being okay, number one, not being okay. Being okay, not being okay. And then being able to go seek help as a result of knowing that you're not okay. Something's going on. I'm not feeling right. I feel like I'm a little anxious. I'm a little on edge a lot of times, more than I need to be. Or I might feel a little low. I feel down. And I feel like, man, if I don't talk to somebody, I feel like I'm constantly playing the role, because I gotta be a certain type of way where I feel as though I'm, you know, like I'm okay, but I'm not. I'm hurt, bro. Yeah. And the thing is, for men, quite often, you know, we're told we're told that we got to man up before we even hit the age of 12. You know what I'm saying? So we're not able to. So we you know, a lot of times, especially for, you know, black men, we develop out of order at times. We skip steps. And then as a result of it, we develop, you know what I'm saying, these different types of ways of coping and, you know, expressing ourselves, because we were forced to probably grow a little faster than, you know, what's desired.
Right. No, that's a definite, man. That's a definite, you know, and it's something about, I often tell people, you know, men in our community, you know, we suffer from PTSD, and then we have a stigma. We don't want to go get help. We don't want to go see a Eric Warren therapist, you know, because now I got to be vulnerable, you know, because like you say, we were taught that we had to have this mask up and that we have to man up, and we can't show any signs of weakness. You know what I'm talking about, when they was like, boy, quit crying.
Yeah. Stop crying. I tell people all the time, I was like, you be there, boy, you tough. You really define the eyes. Now, God didn't gave you tear ducts for a reason. Now, clearly, you know, he don't miss. You know what he's doing. He didn't gave you tear ducts for a reason. But you didn't, in your mind, you didn't convince yourself that it's not manly to use what God, you know what I'm saying, what he did, you man. So it's better to cry. Matter of fact, I tell a lot of cats, if they would have just learned how to cry, they may not be in such situations, because you're eventually gonna cry. You're gonna eventually use them tear ducts.
Definitely. Oh, that's a guarantee.
We want you to be able to use them in society as opposed to in some cell block. You're gonna use them.
Say that, man.
You're gonna use them. You're gonna learn to. So you know what I'm saying? Like, stop telling the little boy, stop being a no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Expressing himself, having a natural, you know, reaction to something that causes sadness. Tears come with that.
Yes,
tears come with that,
and it's okay.
You know? Yeah, and it's okay, because I mean, or if you want to interfere with that if you want, but don't get upset when they real angry later.
Right.
Because they know I can't cry it away, so now I gotta fight it away.
Right. And you hit the nail on the head, because now we built up a lot of hostility in our community within ourselves, you know, that we project that onto others outside of ourselves, because we can't show that, you know, we have that stigma. I can't have a sign of weakness. I can't show no signs of weakness. But in the reality, we're weak and we're broken. And somewhere down the line, mentally, we really want help. We really need help. But I'm too prideful in order to go get help or go seek help or see someone that's going to help me get through the obstacles that I'm facing. You know, it may be I'm missing my father, my mother did this, or you know, somebody in my household did this and this to me, but I'm so prideful that I can't let that go, you know, and then it turns around and now I project that onto somebody else that's innocent, that didn't do me any harm, you know. So we have to understand that overcoming those type of obstacles and being resilient and having a reset, refocus button, you know, we all need our heart reset and refocus on what God has ordained and signed us and created us to do. And I believe that this is the opportunity, because this isn't going to be our last show. I'm going to ask you right now on air.
No. Hey, the fact that you didn't take time, you don't mind listening to me talk, so I'm here.
I enjoy the nuggets. I enjoy the nuggets.
Let me tell this real quick, just because you're talking about that. Anybody that listens to this, I want people to know that one of the key symptoms in depression, somebody that is depressed, is anger. Anger is a symptom of depression. That mood, that and it's also irritability is a symptom of anxiety. So when you're seeing that, you thinking you tough and like, oh man, you really going through it, bro. Damn. What's going on? You need to talk to somebody. And I know it to be true because I've dealt with some cats that are real like 10 toes down in society. Like that people look at it and be like, they almost cleared away, like,
right.
That type. But behind closed doors, it's way different. When they got somebody that to be able to talk to, and be like, man, I keep on having like these nightmares, these flashbacks. They start talking deep stuff like, it's heavy, man.
Going deep.
They get deep, but they have somebody to talk to.
Right.
It's about having somebody to talk to. Be like, dang, okay. I don't want to just hold that in, and I'm doing my best. Every time I try to drink it away, but after that hangover, there it is. It just still there.
Right. When I wake up, it is not going anywhere. It's still sitting there. Right. And that's so true, man. We think that, those outlets and especially this generation, I got to pop pills. I got to take this X. I got to, hit this type of drug. And because I'm turned up, I'm lit, and not knowing, like you said, it's some form of depression. They're trying to escape or cope with some form of depression.
And stop doing that, because that addiction, they cutting all them drugs and stuff with so much stuff that you got to. That's a whole nother situation.
Right. Definitely.
It's a whole nother situation that's tearing this up. Dominic, I want you to pay attention to something this week, and anybody else that's listening. Notice that when you're looking at the homeless people, when you look at most homeless people, just pay attention. And let me know, you tell me if I'm wrong or right, but when you're looking at a lot of homeless people, Dominic, notice that none of them really have gray hair.
Facts.
None of them really have gray hair.
And I go down to Skid Row. Facts.
Yeah. That means they was just at prom maybe 5 years ago.
Yes.
5 years ago, but then got hold of, again, the wrong people.
Yes. No, you hit the nail on the head, E. You hit the nail on the head, Eric. That's so true, man. I was talking to our son, right? And he was telling me, now he graduated in 2015 of high school, and he was telling me that he knows people that are out there like that. And I'm like, they haven't been that far removed from high school.
Far removed from high school, but all it takes is to get in a hold of the wrong person that gives you the wrong thing, and you're going to go in the wrong direction.
Right. And that leads back to your circle.
Who are you
around?
Yeah, who you around? Yeah,
who you around?
Yeah, you ain't around people that are doing stuff that they probably shouldn't be doing, and that they could be doing something. Because it's one thing to not know any better, but we're probably at a bit of a I guess there's a conflict, because a lot of us don't do better because we don't know better, but it's a lot of us that don't do better because we just don't want to necessarily do better. We rather engage into the and clout more than making actual progress.
Right. And that's a definite, because I know several young men who grew up in the house, mother and father, and both of them worked great jobs, had great jobs, careers, and still hit the streets gang banging. But it was their outside influence that led them down that road, and that's what made them turn and join that part of society, and there's always room to come back. But you have to get with somebody like yourself, Eric, that where you can sit down in that quiet room and say, man, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I want to release all this stuff, but I feel like I can't to nobody else.
And the amazing thing is that when that foundation is there, when the foundation is intact, if you got a mom, if you have a mother, a dad, a grandfather, all that kind of stuff, when the foundation is there, even when you build upon some things and things start getting a little, wobbly, as long as that foundation is there, he or she will always come back to those principles. I like to think that he or she has a strong chance of coming back to those principles.
Sir.
They we all kind of waver out a little bit, but eventually we're able to come back. Now, some of us go much further than others, but we're all able to come back to the base. That's why it's so important with these babies, with these kids.
Yes.
A strong foundation.
Don't
tell that baby his mama ain't no good. Don't tell that baby his dad ain't no good. Don't do that.
That's a definite.
You got to have a strong foundation. Everything is built
totally agree.
off of that. Everything is built off of that. The furniture might get rearranged every once in a while. The roof may have a leak. But as long as that foundation is intact, you're going to have a cool home.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with that right there, most people feel like they're stuck, they're caged, they're in prison, right? Mm-hmm. And there's doors and opportunity where the door will open, if they keep the faith, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a personal thing. Faith is a personal thing, right? But if I keep the faith, even though I feel that way, eventually that door will open up and I'll be set free, right? Mm-hmm. For who the Son sets free is free indeed, right? You just all you have to do is go through that door, man, and let it open up, and you'll definitely walk through it and be free, And with overcoming the obstacles, man, and in this day and age with these young people right now, that I hope are listening, will listen, will watch, will it just come across their page and they open it up and they take note to it. You have a great opportunity to do something great in this generation if you surround yourself with like-minded people who are motivating themselves to get to the next level. Because, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to turn it back over to you, E, but I was with this coach one time, right? And he asked me, Dominic, where's the place where dreams die? And, and I started talking about all this other stuff. And he said, it's the cemetery, because those are dreams that'll never be fulfilled. He said, don't let your dreams go into the cemetery. Yep. So on that note, how would you come across to the young people to tell them not to let their dreams die?
Well, and just piggyback, just so I reference that real quick. That's another thing. That's another Dr. Miles Monroe. He said, the cemetery is the wealthiest place on the planet. There are books that haven't been written. There are, songs that haven't been sung. There are inventions that never were created in the cemetery. The wealthiest place on the planet. I wanted to reference Dr. Miles Monroe again. But when you talk about not letting dreams, that you have to get into the habit of watering. Number one, find out what is your dream, what is your goal. Right. And doing that and determining that thing oftentimes within a sober mind. Yes. You want to be able to have a clean, very clean mind of what that thing is. And then you have to find out what steps do you need to take to ensure that you water. Yes. You got to water that dream every day. It's no different than anything else than your body. You got to water it. You got to consume. You got to have water. It's no different than a plant. You got to water it every day. And make sure that you are telling your dreams to like-minded people. Right. That also have dreams and that want to see you win. Right. Because believe it or not, one of the most disappointing things that you can encounter in life is when you are sharing your goals with a person that you would hope would be proud for you, but then you realize that their personality is too underdeveloped to actually be proud and happy for you, because they're too focused on you elevating and possibly leaving them. So making sure that you are around people that want to see you win, and you water that goal every day. Get a mentor. Finding somebody that way you can water and watch it grow. Right. That's a definite, man. You just open up another avenue, man, of being around people who want to see you win, who want to see you successful, who cheer and applaud for you when good things happen, when you win, right? Those are the type of people that we want in our corners, that we want to have around us. People who are saying, you know what, if Eric did it, you know what, I'm happy for him. I'm applaud him, and I'm on my way too, because I see him doing it. I can do it too. If he can win at that, I can win too. And those are the type of people you want to set around yourself. People who are going to help you to get to that next level, who want you to win, who
are your biggest cheerleaders when you're winning,
and,
right?
and support people not just because it's popular, but because it's
Right. That's a definite.
Don't just support people because it's popular. This is probably this has been a historic year thus far in college football, especially when it comes to our people. The way that everybody has huddled around Deion Sanders, I think, is an amazing thing in the Colorado football. Most people we may not have even known Boulder, Colorado even existed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Colorado ain't really had no black people really rooting for him since Cordell Stewart. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like people back in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? So it's been you're talking about almost 30 years ago since nothing has even been remotely close to what this is. And we are all huddled around. But that same energy that you can give a complete stranger that is a strong chance you will never meet, how you root for him every week. You root for him every week. Whoever that aunt of yours is that has her own business, you better be
talking now, E.
Whoever your dad is, whatever that business he has, you better be rooting for him. Whoever your brother is that has that business, you better be rooting for him. Whoever your sister is who has that business, you better be rooting for him. That same energy.
Definite.
How we going out buying sunglasses, we going out buying Colorado pair, all that. You got to make sure save some for your people too, to the people that you know.
Right.
The people that need you. So we got to support, you know what I'm saying? And if it is, don't. That's a big thing. I think that's what motivates and inspires people to feel as though that they can do it. Even if you can't necessarily give a monetary gift to maybe a family or a friend that's doing business or whatever, it don't hurt when you see them on a timeline or whatever the case is. You see them just to share.
That's right.
That's right. It's free.
It's free. It didn't cost you anything.
It don't cost you nothing. It's free, and it's with the click of a button. Now, if it's something personal where somebody's done you something wrong or whatever like that, and you're not on that kind of time with them, by all means, I'm sensitive to that, and I'm saying I do understand that component. But for a lot of people, it's just not. Share, let people know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Help your folk out.
That's a definite, like they say, go ahead and spend a little money, even if you buy it one time.
Yeah, if you have it, but if you can't, like I said, I understand that this economy is acting up right now. It's tight for folk and all that kind of stuff, and sometimes money is not easy to come by. But man, is it Mark Zuckerberg? Was that on Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah, he the one that owned Instagram too, right?
Right.
Yeah, all that he done made it free.
Definitely.
You can make your folk stuff go. Just support. All you got to share it with somebody. You
just support them winning.
But them 3,000 people that you follow, or them 3,000 people that follow you, one of them got some money. Make sure that they know, like, hey, my sis doing whatever. Hey, line that up.
Right. Shout out. And that's what it's all about, man. Supporting to help us overcome obstacles. It may be, like you said, it may be an obstacle of somebody's business or something, or just to show support because they stuck in a rut somewhere and they need a little help to get over a certain obstacle. And you're just basically giving free marketing and free promotions, right? And then when we did back into it, set yourself around people that are going to help you win, help you succeed, help push you to the next level, help you overcome obstacles. In life, we have to have a reset button, a refresh button, a refocus button, in order for us to continue to go on. Because life is a journey, it's hills and valleys. And with that being said, I'm gonna give it over to you, E, so you can get the people your last thoughts, your final thoughts, man, of pushing that envelope, overcoming obstacles, and what can we do?
Okay, I'll say this: when it comes to pushing the envelope, overcoming obstacles, again, who you allow to have access to you is so very, very important. You have got to be fed. And in order for you to grow and reach your full potential, you are not going to be able to thrive on what you feed yourself alone. It's internal influence is huge, but external influence is big as well. So making sure that you're around the right people, whatever it is that you have that you feel as though that you want to be committed to, that you want to be able to put your time in, and you feel as though this is the reason that you're here, write it down and do it step by step. You don't, they say Rome wasn't built in a day, but you can lay a few bricks of it down day by day, and eventually it adds up. It adds up. So just finding out what it is. And when it comes to overcoming the various obstacles, you have to know that that's par for the course. It's par for the course. In the game of life, you're going to get hit. It comes with it. You're going to get hit. But you just, you know what I'm saying? But getting hit, if you can look up, you can get up, get back up, keep going. And don't be so prideful. When you know, if along your journey, when you know you need some help, seek it. And if one access that isn't able to give you help, never stop seeking help. And you got to believe in you. You got to, that's another thing too, when overcoming adversity. You're going to have a lot of naysayers. There's going to be a lot of doubters. People say you can't do this. People say you can't do that, whatever the case is. All that is par for the course. But you got to always believe in you. You got to believe.
And I just want to say this, the Conversation Kings, man. Your host, Dominic Emerson, here on LA Talk Radio with my guest, Eric Warren Jr. I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for tuning in. And definitely, we'll do it again. And I thank you for coming on and sitting down and talking with us, man. And you have a good one. I'll see you on the other side.
All right. Cool.
Bye.
You're listening to Conversation Kings with Dominic Emerson, only on LA Talk Radio.